Hi everyone, this is Julie Bruns. Welcome to the Peace and Possibilities podcast. I want you to thrive and be happy, peaceful, and content, no matter where you are on your journey. This podcast shares stories that will show you how it can be done, no matter what your circumstances. You'll be inspired and come away with a new spark of an idea. Never forget, anything is possible. New episodes are released every Wednesday. Subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review. This helps others find our content and get happier sooner. To possibility and beyond. Okay, welcome everyone. I am here today with Pam and Larisa Bright. And we have two people on today, which is kind of fun. They are partners in a company called Settled, and I'll let them tell you what that's all about. But I met them through a networking group that I'm part of, that we're both part of, or all part of. It's called V50. It's a cool networking group that I just became a part of back like September, October timeframe. It's a great group of people for anyone that wants to look up a little bit more what it's about. It's just a bunch of really awesome people helping other awesome people. That's why I love it. So I'm happy to meet you guys and happy to have you here. And I reached out to them and said, hey, do you want to be, or we talked about having them on because I could tell when they talked about their company that they were really excited about it. And I think it's so important to be obviously talking to people that are doing what they love so that other people can see if it's possible for them. It's possible for me too. So thanks for joining me, ladies.
Love it. We're so happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. So I just want to start off with saying, I'm going to ask you a question in a minute, but I just want to start off by saying congratulations first and foremost, because now that I am a business owner, I never really saw myself as one years ago. And now that I am one, I so appreciate and admire all of the effort that goes into it every single day, all of the little things that you have to get good at that you didn't potentially.
Absolutely.
Even though you're doing something. Yeah, it's crazy.
And you realize you're finally tapping into things that you didn't quite think you'd ever resurface again in your professional career. And that's, I think, the most exciting part about entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I never even saw myself as owning anything. Nor I didn't want to. It wasn't because I didn't think I could do it. I was like, I don't want the stress and the pressure. But I realize now that it's not stress and pressure when it's what you love. Yeah. So congratulations on starting your business. Let's talk about what you're doing, Pam and Larisa, what you do, what your company is. And then did you two ever see yourselves with this career with the company like this, like when you were growing up or in school? Let's start with that.
Well, we founded a home organization company that really has shaken up the industry a bit. Larisa and I met in the industry in our previous role and recognized that we have a lot more we want to offer clients, and we really wanted to tap into both of our previous experiences, and I'm sure we'll dive into that in a bit. But our home organization company helps people live a more peaceful life. We truly believe in the notion that our homes can help us become better people. And especially nowadays, with everybody spending so much more time within the walls of their home and realizing that there's chaos as soon as you open your door, the space that you can control in your life is your home right now. And for us, we just love working with people to help them reach their full potential through making sure that their home works for them and works for their lifestyle. So we're super passionate.
Behind me, like the sign.
Peace.
Yeah.
That sign behind you. We say peace of mind. That's what we're after. That is what we strive to bring each of our clients.
Awesome. And a lot of people, just to add to what Pam said, a lot of people don't realize how much peace their home can bring. So it isn't until after the fact when we leave a home, people say, you have changed my life. And then often they want to gift us to someone else because that feeling is so strong and important to people that they want to, pass it forward to other people.
I love that. It makes sense that people don't know how, it's just like a lot of things. People make a career change, people make a relationship change, and they go, I wish I would have done this sooner. And they probably feel that way. Oh, I didn't know it was supposed to be this nice in my house, or I was supposed to feel this good. And that's an awesome thing you guys are bringing to people.
Thank you. And, one of the things that was really important to Larisa and I when we set out to create Settled was, first and foremost, we're organizers, but secondarily, and not too far down the list, is that we want to do good for the world. I mean, right now, I think what was really unique about Larisa and I teaming up was that there's so many new businesses starting all of the time. And I think we're in a really unique moment where if you're taking that leap, if you can add a social good component, or you can think about how you can better somebody beyond just your services, that was really, really important to both of us. So Settled is sort of an ecosystem that we created. Or home organizing tends to be a luxury business. We have a specific kind of clientele who will reach out to us and hire us. But in our core, we believe that organization can truly change lives. So we said, well, why should it then only be accessible to a certain demographic who we love working with, and we bring white glove service, and that's wonderful. But because it's such a personal thing, and our clients tell us time and time again, you've changed my life. I wish I could gift you to somebody else. Well, then we started saying, well, if we want to change the world, let's really change the world. Why don't we bring this service to people who may not traditionally be able to afford it? And we're able to do that because our clients buy into our mission. So percentage of every single paying job that we do goes towards funding pro bono work for somebody who really can benefit from getting settled in their life, but might not have the monetary assets to pay for the service. So it's really, we say we're on a mission to settle the world. And it was like, how can we do that with home organization, right? Home organization, helping people live better lives. And we just kind of thought that this ecosystem of giving our clients something to buy into and pass forward was a really unique model.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. That's so perfect and beautiful. And you're going to end up being more successful because of that model. And right. And you're going to get so much fulfillment and satisfaction in helping those other people, like you said, that wouldn't traditionally be able to afford something like this service. That's cool, you guys. Good for you. Good for you for setting out that way and seeing it that way right away, instead of just like waiting for it to be really successful and then doing it later. So good for you. You're just going to be more successful sooner. That's awesome.
Thank you so much. We just hope to reach out to more people than typically would have an interaction with this kind of industry.
Yeah. So did you both, when you said you were in this industry before, that's where you met and you created this company, what did you both go to school for? Did you both see yourself as business owners someday, or were you just kind of following a path like home decorating or designing, or what was it?
Pam and I both we both played really unique games when we were younger. I would always play like tidy up, reorganize my room, reconstruct things, what any chore would be was like a game for me. And Pam would love to play organizing when she was little also. So we kind of knew we were two peas in a pod when we started talking about, we didn't play with your typical dollhouse.
Yeah.
And then I always knew I wanted to be in fashion in some capacity. I would go in the bathtub with my patent leather Mary Janes on, and my mom knew like I was destined to be in the fashion industry. So I went to FIT and I studied merchandising and went on to manage a couple of stores and be a merchandising consultant, which ties directly into home organizing. Every day I started my career at Nordstrom's. Every day you're on the floor remerchandising, exactly what we do in people's closets. And that was my favorite part of the job always. So home organization was kind of a natural progression for me. And then Pam and I both joined the Home Edit, which is one of the most famously recognized home organization brands in the world. And that's kind of where our journey began.
Cool. Pam, did you always want to be in this realm as well?
When I was truly 7 years old, I wrote up a business plan to be a professional organizer. It was called Spaces by Pamela Nicole. And it was just always something that, this whole notion of kind of manifesting, my career, I went to University of Delaware, did a little bit of theater. And then, I always knew that I wanted to be a professional organizer, but naturally my career brought me into advertising. So right out of school, I was an account executive, then went a senior account executive, and then a client partner at an advertising agency all in Manhattan. But along the way, I would the whole time people say, what do you do? I go, well, I'm in advertising, but what I'm really going to do one day, I'm going to be a professional organizer. And it was just like, whoever would listen to me, I would tell them that, whether they asked or not, yeah, this is what I do now, but here's what I'm going to do. Yeah. And so it just was always on the forefront of my mind. And no matter what role I was in, I have like 6 different books about how to be a professional organizer back, years ago. I would just hunger for it. And at that time, it was just, probably some undiagnosed OCD for me, where, living within a comforting space really helped my mind. And I knew it could be better for everybody else too. So I, after 7 years in advertising, I was the client partner at an ad agency, and I was doing really well and doing great work. And then, believe it or not, Larisa and I both saw that on social media, on Instagram, that this company, The Home Edit, was hiring. And I said, on a whim, I'm gonna put together a portfolio. And I went home and I took photos of every single space in my house that I thought could somewhat be organized, right, and threw it into portfolio, wrote a letter why, it was a little bit ballsy of a letter. I said, I encourage you to find someone who's better for this job than me, but you won't be able to find them.
Yeah, take a risk.
I threw all my eggs in that basket, and, Larisa and I both got hired. And at that time, so I left my career. I mean, this was, like I said to people, this was like a young kid who was always interested in football and maybe went to a few football camps, throughout his life. But then all of a sudden, out of the blue, the Jets call him and they're like, we want you. I mean, this is what it felt like. It felt like the premier company was, come on to our team. Right. So this was, this was truly a dream job. And so Larisa and I met it there. And then we decided that we could offer, based on our experiences and what we've both done in our past lives, we can offer a lot more to this industry. And that's when we knew we'd have something unique. And we started talking about our own business plan. And it just we decided to take the leap.
Oh, that's awesome. And it's like you were, like you said, you were manifesting. You're like, I'm doing this now, but I'm going to do this other thing one day. Well, one day has to happen because you decide. It's not like you said you saw it on Instagram, but if you weren't on Instagram, you didn't see the ad, you don't apply for it, you don't take those pictures, and you don't write that email, you're not getting it. You're not getting it. They didn't know who Pam was.
Yeah. And and even more
from other people, you wanted to be, you're in advertising, but you really want to be here. You want to work here. That's not how it works. You have to put yourself out there. You have to be ballsy. You have to.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, the reason I found that ad is because somebody in my life who knew my passion for this sent it to me. So it was just talking about it with everybody I can. And that ultimately is what got me the job, because someone said, hey, I saw this, sent it to me, I applied, and now, that changed my life.
That's happened to me in so many ways. I teach this to my kids too. They're in college and out now, but it's like, just because that door over there didn't open for you and you were talking to that person's like, yeah, okay, Pam, whatever. Someday in the future, that person said, I just saw this email. This applies to you. I've heard you talk about it. And now all of a sudden you have this new idea or this new connection that you didn't even know you wanted or needed. Absolutely. Because of that one person you talked to. So it's like, just because this door over here doesn't open does not mean something else is going to open because you had this conversation over here. You just never know. You just never know.
I'm sorry, Larisa, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, that's what Pam and I always talk about. Like, our paths probably would have never crossed. It took so many different things to happen in order for us to meet each other and, start this crazy journey together. But the stars really had to align in order for us to get to where we are today.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They align exactly how you didn't meet. You didn't meet earlier because you weren't supposed to meet earlier. You met exactly.
I believe that. 100%.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so tell me, as you were, so you're in your ad agency, Pam, and Larisa, you're in your fashion career, and you're doing well because you're climbing up the ladder, and you go and get this job, this new role at the home organization company. Along the way, even though you knew you wanted something different than fashion and advertising, I want to be over here. What kept you successful at those other jobs and peaceful and content along the way, but just still pushing towards the thing you wanted? Like, what were you doing every day in your life that was getting you to that final spot that you wanted to be in?
Mm-hmm. I would say for me, so much of it was about making my current path work for me. Mm-hmm. And so much for organizing for both of us with the creativity that comes alongside it. So while, yes, I'm in this track of advertising, and it might seem like in that moment that organizing is all the way over here. And how the heck am I going to jump from this lane straight across to this lane? And I think, and I was at the time talking to a lot of people who were feeling that way too, because I just needed to know the exact question you asked. How do you move forward when you know you just want to make that leap?
Mhm.
And I had got really good advice that was like, you're not going to realize it now, but every skill that that you are
Gaining and
gaining
yeah,
and massaging and, really
tweaking
putting
and
all of your effort into will help you along the way. So I said, well, it's true. Creativity is what really draws me to the organizing. It's the constant mind game. It's a Tetris puzzle, and it's the design as well. So
yeah.
I remember at the time talking to my boss, who we had a great relationship at the agency. And I said, I'd really like to get more into some of this creative. And that for me in that moment kind of helped me not feel so stuck. Previously, it was all about working with clients. I was the liaison between the creative and the client, ensuring they got what they wanted and that the creatives knew. And I said, I'd really like to be more involved in that process. And he let me start taking classes on design and copywriting and strategy. And that, believe it or not, satisfied a little bit of this hunger at the time that I wanted for why am I going into organizing? And then to this day, all that copywriting, all that design, I do the design for our company. So it
Smart.
totally aligns, but it was about, to answer your question, it was about satisfying a need that just helped me wake up every day and go to my desk and sit in the job and say, now I know, now this is a little bit of a ladder that's connecting me from this lane to this lane. And it's just kind of being able to make those webs. Was the mind shift was the first thing for me that was super important.
That's awesome. Larisa, how about for you?
I think for me, Pam is really the creative between the two of us, and I'm kind of like the more business operational oriented kind of person. And throughout my career, I have always had an entrepreneurial spirit. So I knew I wanted to be my own boss. I knew I wanted to have my own company. And I've had the pleasure of working with very incredible bosses through my career. So I think for me, it was just kind of absorbing, like I was a sponge, like absorbing the great traits and the not so great traits of, all of the bosses I had and the coworkers I had, and just like building that foundation up to the point where I knew at some point I would have my own company, just didn't know when it would be. So just kind of like adding all of the tools I could to my tool belt until the time was right. And it just happened when it was supposed to happen.
So smart. It's so true with the tools and then the satisfying hunger, because you are building. I was talking about this with someone else this morning. You're building every day, and you don't necessarily know the end game. No one ever really does. But you think, I want to be here eventually. But if you can embrace what you're doing now and take a little piece of something and find joy in it and find creativity or whatever it is you need to endure whatever you're enduring, it's going to be harder to get to that other spot. It's like taking in, being grateful, being joyful about what you're doing, finding a way to be really connected or engaged in whatever it is you have to do in the moment is going to get you there faster. That's a secret, I think, that people don't realize. Something actually I talk about in my book. It's not like, oh, I'll just be miserable and then one day I'll be happy. It's like, no, you have to find the happiness now and build those little tools and those skills. Satisfy hunger. I love that, Pam. Or add to your toolkit, like you said, Marisa, because those are the things that are going to, when you get there, wherever there is, you're going to have everything you need.
Yes.
Skip through.
You're not going to know it.
Now, you're not going to get there.
You're not going to know it along the way. That's for sure. You
Yeah.
only once you get to the place, you go, aha, that's why I was doing all that. So I completely agree.
I love it too, Larisa, what you said. Sorry, I was going to say, Larisa, you look like a girl I worked with named Marisa. So if I'm seeing your face, I'm going, Larisa.
I'm on to all of them.
I love what you said about, what did you say about, absorbing the good and the not good. So like, I used to do the same thing. I really love this boss. I really love this boss. I love when they do this and they do this and this. And then when I have a bad one, which was not very often, I would do the same thing. I'd be like, I'm never going to do that. This is not helpful. This is not helping people thrive, whatever it was. I was identifying it. And then same thing, putting it in my tool belt, like, all right, all these things lead to good leadership. This over here does not. Self-awareness, all of that. And, little by little, as you accumulate the wisdom and the insight, that's the stuff that sticks. And then you go, okay, when I do create my own thing someday or a better role, these are all of the things I'm going to bring to it. So that's super important for young people too.
Yeah.
Right. I think even the hardest experiences always are the ones you learn the most from. So as uncomfortable or bad as, those situations are where you maybe don't have your favorite boss, ultimately, looking back, those are the most important moments because you're going to learn the most.
Totally. I also think it's a good trick to say to yourself, what is this here to teach me? Like Oprah Winfrey used to talk about this, like, what's the lesson? Like when something is really crappy, a boss, a bad whatever it is, and you're like, we've all been there. Like actually saying to yourself, what is this lesson here to teach me? I think the more you can ask that question and listen, the faster you can get the lesson, instead of just like every day waking up and like complaining about it sucking, whatever it is. Actually saying, what is the lesson? What am I supposed to be learning from this? You could probably get it faster and not have to suffer for as long.
Absolutely. And, in doing that, what's the lesson? I mean, that's one of the first things Larisa and I did when we started developing a business plan. It was, what are we both really good at? And we would kind of write it all down. And then we kind of made our business model match our skills.
Right.
And our passions.
Smart.
Remember, every passion we had.
Exactly. I mean, my background in being a client partner, really knowing what my client's going to say next or the problem before it arises. And then Larisa with her eye for stylization and merchandising, it's unbelievable. And we said, between this and this, we have a real offering here. And we just kind of built it because we kind of felt we're so passionate about home organizing. If we just bring that passion, but also bring with it the tangible skill sets that we're both actually really good at, we can't not succeed, right? I mean, it just kind of, those were the conversations we were having every day in the beginning. Like, oh, Pam, you're really good at this. Larisa, you're great at this. Why don't we offer our clients this? And it just, we feel comfortable talking about it with our clients and they respond really well because we're passionate and we know that our backgrounds have supported us being able to offer these services.
You have the skills, the insight, and the tools. Yeah, that's awesome, you guys. Good for you. Okay, next question. All right, so what advice would you have for someone who is searching for a meaningful career? So I'm 25, I graduated from college, I'm in this job I don't really like, I did it, whatever it is. Or they can use their strengths and they're using them a little bit now, but they're not really where they want to be yet. What would you guys have to say to them? I'd love to hear both of your insights.
For me, it's conversations. I think a lot of people don't be scared to have conversations about what you love. I mean, it just kind of harkened back to, I believe that's how I landed where I am. Anybody who would listen, again, I would talk about what I'm passionate about. And I think if you lead life with your passion first, people would tell me all the time, I could just listen to you talk about organizing forever.
You're excited, yeah.
Just because I'm so excited by it. And that's ultimately what led people to think of me and send me opportunities. And it's, if you exude your passion to other people, then it's almost like you have headhunters, out in the world for you, always kind of thinking of you. And so that would be one thing. And the second would be, oh my goodness, as a young person, if someone's your client at a agency and you never thought you'd go back into advertising, secure that relationship. It doesn't take a lot to follow up with them once a year. Hey, I know we haven't spoken. I was just thinking about you. Or anytime I find an article or anything that reminds me of somebody from even 3 years ago who I've spoken to, I send it to them. And just say, hey, just want you to know I'm still thinking of you. This made me think about that time, X, Y, and Z. And I think just constant connections and reaching out to people and asking, hey, do you mind if I just pick your brain for 10 minutes? That could change your life.
Totally agree. I have a whole chapter of that about connections in my book. It's like changed my life too. It's so, and you, like you said, it's very simple. It doesn't take a ton of time. And it really doesn't take a ton of thought. It's just like, thought of this, saw this, thought of you, whatever it is, quick email. People are so impressed by it. And people, aren't people so impressed by it, Pam? Like, wow, that was so sweet of you. It's like, it really was just 5 minutes. And yeah, okay, what's sweet of me? But you think everyone's doing it. No one's doing it.
Nobody's doing it.
You stand out it's a way for you to stand out very easily. Yeah.
And I think people don't do it because there's sometimes like shame or embarrassment. I haven't spoken to them in so long. Oh, I haven't followed up with them, but I assure you that the recipient of what you send is never going to think, weird that I haven't heard from her. It's more, how nice that you reached out.
Right. Yeah. How about you, Larisa?
I think it's really similar. I think at the beginning of my career, I definitely took some relationships for granted. You know, like you learn over time that every person you come in contact with, you're going to learn something from.
Mhm.
So really kind of like fine tuning your mind to learn from every experience and every person. And, you know, you come into contact with people at certain points of your life, like Pam and I did, for a reason. And I just would want to tell my younger self, like, don't take anyone you meet for granted, because as Pam and I have seen with our whole business, the people we've surrounded ourselves with have helped to make our company so successful so quickly. And that's just a testament to the people we've met and learned from.
Smart. That brings me to my last question. You kind of just answered it, Larissa, about what you wish you had learned earlier in life to not take things for granted, connections and experiences and people. How about you, Pam? What have you, when you think about what you wish you had learned a little earlier?
Mhm. I think, there's one, I would say, I think something that I did learn early on, which has helped me actually, was making every client feel like they're the only client in the world, and really getting to know who your client is, what their need is, and how you can directly solve it. Um,
Yeah, that's a good one.
I hope that answers the question, because for me, that's what we do. And I think what makes us so successful with our business, we treat every single client like they are our one and only, and that they can help us get to the next infinity level. And oftentimes they do. So it's just, again, harbor those relationships. And I guess I would be, don't take it for granted.
Yeah, great.
Pam and I are really uniquely lucky with all of our clients. By the time we leave, they're truly family to us. You know, we know the ins and outs of their home, how their home functions, you know, what their children are doing, what their daily schedule is. And we really cherish that, because to put so much trust in us to come into your home, and really it's an emotional experience, and kind of give us the keys to their life. We feel uniquely lucky to be able to have those relationships with people.
Yeah,
And
I never
we do.
thought about it as a person. It's really personal, isn't it? It's like you're getting in there, you're touching other things, you're moving other things, you're talking to them about their life, like you said, and what their life is like, so that everything can function well for them. It's a super personal experience, and you're right, that takes a lot of trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have.
And one other thing, Julie, I would say, people, which is always a saying I try to remember, people remember not what you say, but how you make them feel.
Mhm.
And I think that's a guiding principle for us in everything we've done. They're not going to, they will remember how the peace of mind we've brought them. They will remember the fact that we listened so intently to their needs that when they hung up, they may not realize, oh, here's what I told them, and here's the immediate solve they gave me, but they just feel heard. They
Yep.
feel listened to. And that's something totally I would say to somebody, just, always make sure people feel good after their interaction with you.
I love that quote as well. People might not remember what you told them, but they're always going to remember how you made them feel. That's awesome. That's a great way to end this. What about, all right, so how can people work with you? So I know you guys are on the East Coast. If people want to work with you, do you guys do virtual stuff, or is it just in person now? I mean, you go to the homes and all of that. If people want to work with you or find out more about what you do.
So we are on-site work. So while we're based in Manhattan, we will travel anywhere. Right now, we're a little more hesitant about hopping on a plane until things calm down, but we will go wherever the work takes us. People who would be really good clientele of ours are anybody who's looking for a real transformation in their home. Something that really sets us apart is that we work significantly against systems. So we come in and create bespoke systems for the workflow of your home. A linen system, each child, we give a name to their system and we address all of their belongings within that. It's a really unique take on organization, because we've been in this industry. We knew we had to bring something unique and interesting. And again, harking back to really knowing our client, how we can deliver really bespoke solutions. So anybody who's interested in getting their home set up, having some peace of mind, who our mission resonates with them on settling the world, we would love if you followed us on Instagram or went to our website. Our Instagram handle is @settled.home. And our website is settledhome.com, and all of our information is there.
Thanks, ladies. Well, congratulations on a really cool idea. Awesome to take the big leap and get out there and make a great business that is going to change people and make them feel better and be more peaceful and content, which is what I'm all about. So, and you guys are just making the world a little bit better place, because more peaceful, content people do better things out in the world, right? Like it sounds like, wow, how can, like you guys are saying, how can organization like really be making the world a better place? Well, it doesn't seem that far-fetched when
So perfectly put. So perfectly put. And we also want to say that if anybody's listening to this podcast who has an interest in home organization, even if you don't want to make it your full-time career, we love, obviously, to talk about this. So we are always those people who would say, call us up. Let's, let's have a Zoom call and let's just chat. So we're happy to do that.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah,
Larisa.
We'd love to finish by just showing you a couple of our projects if you want to see kind of what they look like. Visuals are always easier in our line of work.
Yeah, let's see them.
Show you a couple things. Would you shoot me the sharing capabilities?
Hold on.
Thank you.
And then we have just a few minutes as far as the make you host as far as time goes left. So
we'll zip right through it.
So you're a host now.
To see it than explain our work. So this is just a bit of work we've done.
Oh,
paint trees we've done.
Beautiful.
We love custom labeling. Every job is custom.
Fun.
Colors. Really great pantry. This one is a recent project, a loft. With homeschool, it's more important than ever having a little nook. This is also a fun one. This was a total transformation. So we did a play space. And then toy solution. A really cute toddler playroom in Philadelphia. This is a great example of homeschool. This goes up so it closes. So
nice.
Bedroom, it looks totally streamlined, and then when it's time for school, you just open it up.
Perfect. Beautiful.
It's so fun doing what we do. We just love it.
I love it too. I used to, like you guys did, well, one of you mentioned like used to, I think it was you, Larisa. I used to always rearrange my room. I was constantly like moving things, and people come in like, oh yeah, I just want to see how it looked. I just still do it. My husband's like, you're driving me crazy. I'm like, I love it. It's fun. It's fun.
Yes.
It's super cool.
Oh man, yes.
You guys. So they can see these pictures on the website too.
Yep, absolutely. We put everything on our Instagram, our gallery, on our website. And it's just a peek into kind of what we do, because it's really an elevated service compared to what's out there. So we like people to know exactly what they're getting with us.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Awesome. Well, thanks, ladies. Good luck to you. You're going to be awesome. And I can't wait to see how you do.
Thank you so much, Julie. Appreciate what you're doing. And you know what? So happy that you're out there encouraging people to follow their passions.
Oh, good. Me too. Thanks, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. If you love this content, please rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or whichever platform you found us on. You can get all my social media links in the description below. Help us keep the momentum going so that every person can live their lives happily, doing work they love.